Let's get more on the future of TI and bring in the top-ranked analyst on the stock. We have Doug Freedman of Broadpoint AmTech. Doug is also ranked #1, by the way, for the tech sector overall. He has a buy call on Texas Instruments, and he joins us on the line from San Francisco. Doug, let's get through the numbers, shall we? $600 million in profit in Q1 for TI. And it looks like Texas Instruments will make that and more next quarter. What about the future guidance? Does it look pretty good to you?
Yeah, without a doubt, the revenue growth is very impressive and better than people were expecting. Even the most bullish estimates on the street, ours, were looking for 60 cents, and the range that the company's offered for earnings is 64 cents, so more than 5% stronger at the top end of the range.
Yeah, more than 5 cents stronger than the top of the range. So what about what's going on right now with this inventory drawdown? Looks like we've hit that inflection point and companies are now building up once again.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been some bearish calls on the semiconductor sector for quite a while now that what we were doing was just, seeing revenue growth as a result of inventory builds. We believe that there is some inventory building going on. However, we think that really started or the inventory levels bottomed in Q4, and that inventory build really started in Q1. And traditional semiconductor cycle is 4 to 5 quarters before we rebuild inventory. So we think there's several more good quarters in front of us.
Yeah, what about TI's new strategy? I mean, they're going analog these days, Doug. I mean, these analog chips used in industrial machinery such as washing machines, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think this is the right strategy going forward as it tries to win more orders?
Yes, well, what happened was the company really overexceeded themselves in the wireless space and found themselves overexposed to a commoditizing wireless sector. And what we have now is analysts and investors alike are really looking at the company as trying to strip away the baseband business that they really own #1 market share position globally with the GSM basebands. So what we're doing now is we're starting to strip away the earnings at that business, which they're unwinding. And what they'll be left with, you're correctly to highlight, is going to be an analog and embedded processing market, which, by the way, happens to catch a much higher earnings multiple because it's consistency in earnings and revenue potential.
Okay, well, that's why you still have a buy rating on TI here, Doug. In fact, you've made 54% on TI shares in your calls for your clients. So what about your target price? You're looking at 34 bucks a piece for TI shares, currently trading at $27. You think you might increase that target price?
It's quite likely that what we're going to do through this is probably hold that target price. There's plenty of upside here with the stock trading at 27 and change. So I think $34 is probably going to be a fair number to hold on to. Like I said, we're going to get to that number with just the analog business alone or with the earnings leverage that the wireless is providing presently.
Yeah, Doug, it must be nice to be an analyst in the chip sector these days because you have a lot of buy calls on the table, including a buy call on Intel. In fact, you're, again, the #1 ranked analyst on the stock. Your target price is at $30. We're trading at $23 and change. And I guess there just seems to be so much optimism in this sector that Intel's also a buy.
That's correct. I mean, when you look at, we think that we're still in the midst of sort of what we'd call a cycle trade, and that is where the cycle is really driving the numbers and driving the stock performance. We're not really yet to a point where inventories in the cycle have normalized that we can really look for market share gains or secular growth stories to really get paid for in this environment.
All right. Well, everyone's looking to get paid. Doug, thank you for that. Doug Freedman, analyst at Broadpoint AmTech. He's the #1 ranked analyst, also on Intel shares as well as Texas Instruments.